Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the best 17. I've ended up with the best 50, to be honest, who are in the Super League, because there's always been these questions of whether or not we could add another team to the comp, like the Dolphins, and you look at most of the squads, they don't have the depth. But if you add these 50 players back to the competition, you can have 18 teams, no problem at all, and you would actually have some depth in the squads. So this are the players that could be in the NRL or used to be in the NRL. Maybe they've gone past their best, but I had to just put them in because they're still playing. So let's have a look at the best players not to be playing in the NRL from the Super League. Well, to start off, who are the players that don't even make... I was only going to do a top team, but there were so many players I ended up having to do a reserve team. And these are the players that didn't even make the reserve team, and they can easily play NRL footy. So you obviously got Sione Matautai and Peter Matautai. You're talking about a player that's played for Australia, can't make the top two teams. That's how good the Super League players are. You've got David Fafita, I've left him out as well. Reece Kennedy, Albert Fete, Ricky Leitua. I mean, these guys can easily be in the team. Tom Peg, he just left the NRL. I don't have him in my top two squads. Carlos Tuvamavave, Neil McDonald, Easton Masters. Some of these have just gone to. Sane Tedafano, Reece Martin, Mason Lino. There's so many. Joey Lussick. The list just continues to go. And John Asiata, Sayasu, Lachlan Lamb as well, and Curtis Soronen. These are players that have not made my team. Now, some of them could have easily made the team, and there's going to be all... we can argue to the cows come home about this, but this is just really just a little bit of an opinion. You could swap about 10 players from each squad, so there's no doubt about it. But this is the squad. This is, to me, the 17 is to look at. This would be your squad for your backup players, extra players. Some of them could play starting in NRL, but a lot of these would be your backup players for depth in the squads. So my reserve 17 from the Super League. Now, these are the players that if you add another New Zealand team, or if you add a team in Perth, no matter where you're looking, these are the players you'll be looking at to just bring a bit more depth to your squad or your bench. So at fullback, Matt Duffy. Matt Duffy could easily play fullback at one of these clubs. So he could be a starting player, no doubt about it. Mahe Whanua is probably past his best, to be honest, but he definitely could be a reserve type player for you if you need it. George Tafua, I still think he could have had a couple more years in the NRL and would be a starting player in some clubs. Conrad Harrell, probably past his best, but definitely he would bring a bit of enthusiasm to your squad if you really need one. And Kevin Naguama just left. He definitely can add some depth to a NRL squad. Same with Lola here. He could play the 14 role for some clubs. It will be definitely someone you can look out for. And Jake Clifford, obviously just left the NRL, has the ability to play NRL. Just whether he's a elite player is the question for Jake Clifford to improve on. Paul Vaughan, this is probably a contentious one. You would say he should be in the top team, but to me, I found a few better players than Paul Vaughan to put in my top team, but he could easily be there. Danny Levi, well, he's at the Raiders anyway. So from what I've heard, but for now he's still there. So number 9, Danny Levi. 10, Ignatius Parsi. He was a very good player when he was here. Bodine Thompson, Mana Mahu, and Kenny Edwards. All these guys would be excellent people to bring off the bench. Sam Lasoni, this is the bench. Kane Lanef, we know what he could do. Legisao as well, he's very consistent. And Jai Field would be a handy 14 in this day and age. Be interesting to see if he ever came back to the NRL, how he would deliver in that role. I think that's his only role if he came back. Which leads us to the top of the tree. These are the ones that could make the next team. If you were going to make another NRL squad, this is how it would look. Obviously you would have a couple more star players in this team, but this is a good enough team to be an NRL team if you really had to push for an NRL team. So who would be the fullback? Well, this is a bit of a contentious one. I wanted to put someone else at fullback, but because of the squad, I've had to swap it around a little bit. So Lachlan Coote would be the fullback, and no doubt about it, he could play NRL right now. David Fusitu'a, at his best, he was outstanding. Bringing David Fusitu'a back. Bevan French I had on the other wing. He could have been the fullback as well. Will Hopewadi and Sean Kenny-Dowell. Need I say more? Both of them could easily be playing now. Blake Austin and Aiden Caesar could easily be playing NRL now. Both of them very good players. Sam Cassiano might be past his best, but at his best he was an outstanding player. Same with Nathan Peets again, might be past his best, but he's still a very good player. Takeo just gone over. Obviously he could play NRL right now. He's a big loss for the Roosters. Josh Maguire and Chris McQueen, well, we know how good they were in this competition. They're very good. Brad Takiangi might have been more of the backup player, but when he did play for Parramatta 13 or 6, he was very, very good. Tex Hoy, I still don't understand why the Knights didn't keep him. I think he's a wasted talent in the Super League. I would like to see him back. I think he's a beautiful utility player. Tex Hoy. Dylan Napa, at his best, he was a beast. And obviously Kevin Proctor and Elijah Taylor. That's who I've ended up with. You can argue some of these with other players. It's just the way it is. I had to just try and narrow it down, which was pretty hard. But to say there was no depth to having 17 or 18 teams is a whole lot of rubbish. The people will keep telling you that there isn't enough depth. If we added these 50 odd players to the NRL now, you look at it from a squad perspective, with all the teams here, you could put pretty much three in each team, and well, there you go. The depth of each club would be outstanding. If you put 3 of these players in each team, it would be a very, very good looking teams. I mean, every team. But because obviously the Super League, you would get paid more than what you'd get here. That's why we have the exodus, unfortunately. So you're not going to keep these players, regardless of what we try to say yes. But you're going to tell me someone like, for instance, Matt Duffy's going to stay here for 300,000 when he can get 600, 700 over there. I mean, it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, for just some of the players that are, you know, about 6th or 7th best in this country can go there and get top dollar, and that is unfortunately the problem we have. Obviously, salary cap has gone up now, but a lot of those players won't play for 120,000, which is the problem. If you're looking at the players who will pay for 120,000, there's not many that would, because they'll get more than that from being an average player over there. So it's very tough one. But to say there isn't the players out there to make the 17 player squad and 18 is a lot of hoopla. But it's just obviously the money situation that makes the depth not as good in the NRL, because those players will get paid more in the Super League, and that's why they're gone there. So yeah, but who would I say out of all these players I would put in the NRL right now who would absolutely kill it? I think you could easily put Lachlan Coote there. I think you could put Will Hopewadi. I think Blake Austin would do a job at a club. Takeo, obviously. Josh Maguire still had some more to give. Tex Hoy. They're probably the main ones to me who would absolutely kill it in the NRL. Even Bailey Thompson, even though he's on my top team, I mean, I can see him being very solid. Kenny Edwards, these type of players would be very solid coming off the bench or starting. Very handy players for any club. So it depends on what you're looking for, depth and stuff. But yeah, to me, there is depth in the Super League, and to say we can't have 17 or 18 teams in the NRL is a whole lot of lunacy. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Remember to subscribe and smash the like button, and I'll see you at the next video.